behind the scenes, you might be missing appointments, showing up late. You might have leads that are coming in. Maybe you hit them once with a welcome email and then you never sent anything else back to them. Like, you're not talking to your people. You might lack confidence in even showing up. You just feel like you have no time to do the marketing pieces of your business or even those revenue generating tasks because you're stuck doing the things really that you shouldn't be doing. Maybe there's a tool that can automate something, or it might be a red flag if no one stays, because we hire people sometimes into chaos. And how can they function? How can they help you reach your goal if you're unsure of what they should be doing?
All right, Tanesha, I'm so happy to have you here. I hope we're not going to laugh throughout this episode because that's just our energy, or cry. We don't know where it's going to go. But so excited to have you here. I want you to tell the audience just a little bit about you and how you got started and just how you got here, where you are today.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me, Zay. You're right. I don't know if I'm going to laugh a lot or if I might like break out in tears, but we're just going to go with the flow today. And so just to share a little bit about how I got started. So my business, I feel like most people don't know. It actually started just as me being a single mom looking to make extra income, but not also take away from my boys who are very active. Every time I speak, I talk about, it's hashtag for the love of the boys because they're like in everything. And so that's how the business actually started. And I was in this financial group realizing that people paid for virtual admin support. And I was like, people pay for that? I could do that.
Right.
And, the rabbit hole started, and we actually, I joined another community and had friends that we all started our business at the same time. Community is one of the pillars in my business because I almost didn't start. My grandfather had passed away during that time frame, and I just mentally wasn't there. But community, which I still talk to those ladies to this day, basically came back and said, no, let's finish the course that we were in to like get things set up and just get it rolling. And just to fast forward to today, the business has morphed so much. I realized over time that, yeah, doing the general VA work was cool. I could do it, but my passion was really with more of the strategy and the automation and the tech side of the business. So throughout that time frame, just like all small business owners began to niche down and move more into what was more of a passion for me.
I love that, Tanesha. I got so many oh my gosh, questions that I want to ask now, because of just what you shared and your incredible journey. When you think about, or even like when you mentioned like community and how important community is, and that it is a pillar in your business specifically, that touched my heart and soul because I feel like we're nothing without the communities that we are part of and the communities that we build. And one thing that I really admire about you is your ability to, have communities. Like you're such an outgoing person. I feel like from the outside looking in, I'm like,
the
oh my
social
God.
private person.
Yes. Like Tanesha always has so much going on. You're always doing something with a community. I admire that you are out there physically doing things as well with, groups and organizations and communities. I'm totally not that girl. I am the introvert, see me from the internet type of girl. So I always admire just your tenacity where community is, and I love that just your personality as well in fostering community in communities that you're in. You're such a huge part of our own Brave on Video community. Right?
You are my people. Everyone in there
Yes.
is my people, and we are here to learn and grow together.
Exactly. So you saying that, girl, I know that when you say community is a core pillar of all that you do, like you really mean it because you are like, it gives community, darling. And
Okay, I'm
I
glad I'm giving the vibe.
yes. You are, you are. Then the other thing that I love that you mentioned is, and I just had another episode where we spoke about like just that pivoting or doubling down
Yeah.
on something. Can you share just for someone that's listening and they're nervous about that pivot or that double down, just a few words really quickly.
Yeah. So it's going to be scary. But sometimes, even in those, what I realized is, even in those moments when it was scary,
Mm,
I still felt inside my heart that I was moving in the right direction. Um, we joke and talk about passion and finding your purpose and things of that nature. But in reality, I started to feel more alive in my business. I felt like my personality started to come out and I felt more confident in how I spoke.
mm.
Um, and it just affected me in different ways. So, for those who are, in that position of the pivot and the change, embrace the journey.
Yeah.
That's really what I would say about that.
I love that. Okay, so that makes me want to ask my next question. Uh, for someone who, like, how do you know when someone is disorganized in their
Mm.
business? Like, what are symptoms of someone being all over the place? And I might feel some of these because, but anyway, like,
We're
talk
not
to
gonna
me
step
about
on
what
any
that feels
toes
like.
today. We're not gonna
Yeah,
step on any
right.
toes.
Step
It's
on my
all
toes,
love.
girl. Stomp on them. I need it. Like, luckily I have Sarah, who's my assistant, because
She's
Lord knows.
amazing, by
Thank
the
you.
way.
I would not be anywhere without that woman. However, like I want you to share because I know what it feels like, but there might be someone that's listening that
Yeah,
is feeling the symptoms of disorganization in their business. And I feel like that affects the bottom and
yeah,
it affects the top in marketing and getting on camera and creating content. Like if you're disorganized on your back end, you're not going to feel
yeah.
confident enough to market yourself. That's my thoughts.
Yeah,
But
no, I agree. So some of the symptoms I would say is, one, you might lack confidence in even showing up
mm,
because you feel like you're fumbling, you're not sure about what you're saying, or you're not even sure about what you're gonna do. So that could be some of the front facing stuff. Behind the scenes, you might be missing appointments, you might be showing up late, or you might have leads that are coming in and you haven't talked to them. You hit them once with a welcome email and then you never sent anything else back to them. Like you're not talking to your people. Um, it could be that you just feel like you have no time. You have no time to do the marketing pieces of your business or even those revenue generating tasks because you're stuck doing the things really that you shouldn't be doing. Maybe there's a tool that can automate something, or it could even trickle down to business owners that hire um, assistants or different outsourcing companies to do things for them, and it might be a red flag if no one stays because we hire people sometimes into
mm,
chaos. And how can they function? How can they help you reach your goal if you're unsure of what they should be doing?
girl, she said, I'm going to step on your toe. Okay, so early on in my business, I definitely had that issue and I would blame it on the person.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't find a good VA. Well, girl,
Yes.
like, there's a finger pointing back at me. And I realized that, first of all, the vision for my business, like
Yeah.
what's the real vision here? What are we actually doing? What are we actually selling? What are we like, you know, I had to
Yeah.
figure my mess out before someone else could come in and fix your mess. But as I'm
Mm-hmm.
speaking about that, I'm also getting, and I want you to confirm this as well for someone that's probably listening. What about, you know, maybe it may not be, we hire a VA to come in and fix things, and it may not
Ooh.
be a
Mm.
VA that we need. Come on, talk to
Baby.
me. Talk to me.
That's the
Talk to me.
baby right there. Yeah, I think that is something that I saw in the online space is that we want a VA to be a unicorn. And we want the VA to be the tech person, we want them to be the social media manager, we want them to be our executive assistant. But those are all three different roles. And I get it. When you're
Mhm.
starting out, you're looking for assistance across multiple areas because you're probably stretching dollars and being mindful of expenses. But sometimes we have unrealistic expectations of that VA that we might be hiring, where that might not be their lane of expertise. So uh, you're really looking for a unicorn.
But how do you know if you need a systems person versus a VA, and which one should come like before or after, or what are your thoughts there?
I personally think you need the systems or operations person first because you're
Mm,
building out your strategy, you're creating the steps and the process that the VA will follow to do the task.
mm,
They would be the ones, in motion with the day to day. The operations or the strategy or tech person is more of the higher level, more like right hand with you trying to work through are the tools and systems you bring in the VA in to use even the right ones that you should be using. So that's why I would
mm.
think that goes before w- actually hiring a VA.
Now listen, Tanisha said, I love that. I love that you shared that because I feel like unless I'm not paying attention, that's not a real conversation that's happening in the online space.
Mm,
Of like what should come first? Should it be a VA? Because I feel like everyone shares that message of just hire a VA
yeah,
versus like, and I think sometimes we don't realize that sometimes you're getting that information from someone who understands what they, so they have some traits of systems and they have
yeah,
that figured out, and so hiring a VA worked for them because they were able to tell the VA, hey, this is what we need,
yeah,
versus someone who has no expertise in that realm or no skill in that realm at all, and everything is disorganized, and so now the VA comes in and everything looks crazy on the back end and they now have to fix it.
yeah.
So I think that's a really great conversation that I know I could sit here and talk about for a while.
I might have to continue that conversation.
Yes, and I think you should. I think that's,
Yeah.
like that's a really good conversation. But before we, get too deep into that, because we don't have all that time today, I want you to share with me like what sets you apart in your field. Like what would you say is the thing that sets Tanisha apart in your space? Like,
Yeah. I would say that, dare I say, it's like my realness, my relatability, and trying to create simplicity and have you understand that I'm just like you. I am
mm,
a small business owner looking to simplify, but I choose to use tech solutions. And I feel that it's beneficial for you as a small business owner as well to simplify in that way.
I love that you shared that because I also feel like that's reflected in your content. Like sometimes you'll be figuring something out and you'll share in your content, like, hey, I was working through this and I thought, hey, why not share this?
Yeah,
uh,
really.
yeah, is that
I'm
like,
like, why not? There's resources out here, and why not share? We're all looking to really just reduce our stress. Like, we're not here for that anymore.
I agree. And I was watching an interview the other day with Jay Klaus, who's a YouTuber, and he was interviewing the owner of the channel, Thomas Explains,
Mm,
or I can't remember his name. Forgive me, guys. However, he was sharing that one of the things that we should do as creators is follow what we're interested in.
mm,
And that was so powerful for me. It connected me back to why I started creating videos because I was interested versus being an expert. Like, so that got me
mm.
started. And so as I'm speaking to you, I'm also thinking, oh my gosh, like, you're sharing things that you're interested in or things that you're figuring out. One of those things currently being Google Workspace,
Yeah.
right? How do you feel about Google Workspace? Why did you choose something like that to start sharing about something like that tool or
Yeah. So, well, fun fact is I wanted to be a Google digital coach. So that was one of the fun facts about it. But I've always loved it. One of the reasons, though, that I started sharing it recently is the fact of, as a small business owner, cost is usually an issue when you're starting up. So what I love about them is that, one, they have a low entry point for small business owners who want to look like a business and have their
Mhm.
.com, .org and all that stuff as far as their professional email. But then it's ease of use, and it's the way that it's very easy to integrate with across multiple tools. So they don't leave you bound to just using Google Workspace. They integrate with a lot of tools seamlessly. Um, and so that to me was just a huge selling point. And I think as a small business owner, especially now when everyone's looking at cost of software and everyone's trying to be an
Yeah.
all-in-one software, why not think of the one that you're already paying for? So
Ooh.
some people, they are starting out, and the gurus and the everybody online is using this tool, so we run to go get it. But say for instance you start out and you have Google Workspace, you don't need to go get Zoom. Use Google Meet until, you've built up your business to a
Mm.
point where you can expand to another tool. So I think it was because mainly those reasons. I just want to highlight it and let people know that it, you can start out simple, start where you are and grow into other tools. And, it sounds exciting when you see everybody online using something, but it's okay. It's okay to just use what you
Yeah, I
have.
agree. And you know what? I'm seeing that conversation so much now in the online space of like even the bigger people like finally wanting to change something or switch or try a system that's better. Like you and I were speaking before this video, like we're currently in the process of finding something that really works for our video membership and I'm so excited about it. And like just being realistic about what works and what's not working and what we're trying to fit, what circular thing we're trying to fit into a square box. I don't know
Yeah.
if that made sense, but
It does. What they say, peg hole, square
yes,
into a peg hole.
round peg, square hole. So super, super just excited about like exploring and finding different options that work better for us and finding affordable options that work better for us too.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
love that you're sharing that. I do believe that Google Workspace is going to be huge. So I'm excited to see you kind of, be the person that has the, what do you call it, torch? Why am I using so much
Yeah.
metaphors? Or, I'm feeling like, but just
Yes.
the person
Listen, I'm
who,
here for it all.
yes, who doubles down on that and starts talking about it. I'm super excited about that because I feel like there's going to be a really strong culture around Google Workspace. And I can tell that they are actively working on making it
Yeah.
better.
Oh,
So
yeah, for sure.
it's exciting. I'm so excited for you. If you want to learn more about Google Workspace and how you can use it in your business, and like Tanesha said, like have a solution, something that you're already using, and use it just better, I'm sure that you're able to find some amazing like tutorials and such on Tanisha's channel. I'll be sure to link that down below in the podcast so that you can join her over there.
For
Well,
sure.
Tanisha, of course, I'm going to ask you, tell us about your YouTube journey. What made you want to start a YouTube channel?
Oh my goodness, Zay. The YouTube journey. Oh my goodness. So, honestly, the YouTube journey for me started because I wanted to get into doing speaking engagements.
Mm.
And so I said for me, it was a new part to my business, and I was like, what better place to do it than to create a platform to be able to practice it myself. And so at the time, you launched the camera confidence masterclass. And it's funny because I was at a point in my business too where I was like saying to my other coach at the time that, oh, I'm not going to pay for anything else. I'm going to just focus with what I have. And I was like, but this course right here, it just fits what I'm trying to do.
Wow.
And I will say that I do not regret it. I took that, and I think I knew of you before from Thinking Color,
Hmm.
but what happened during Camera Confidence was you gave me a new level of even community, like in how much value you gave, and just how you delivered. It set the bar. It set the bar. And so after that, I kind of paused a little bit because I think I was going through my thoughts and overthinking. Um, Almost like, what would people think? Am I going to be able to like give enough knowledge, especially being in the education and the tech field? It's like, am I going to be able to stay up to date with it? And so I hesitated for a while, but eventually went ahead and launched a channel. It was rough. I actually hired out for it, and the first person I hired was not a great experience because even though I was just starting, I have a certain level, and it wasn't giving. It wasn't giving the graphics, the editing. It just wasn't giving, and I knew personally that I wasn't looking to take on full blown learning of editing. You know, Zay, I cringe
Okay.
when,
Yes.
yeah, I cringe when I think about it. So I wasn't looking to do that. So I hesitated after the first person didn't work out, and I
Mm,
paused. But then my assistant that's been with me for years now, she's like, "Oh, I know how to edit and I can help you with that." And I was like, "You sure?" And I gave her the first video, and I was like, "Man, you get me." And we just
wow.
started. And it has been a fumble and a stumble. It has been a fumble and a stumble, but we're still here. I was pre-recording videos, but when we first started the channel, and kind of playing around with topics. But I think I'm still in a play around phase, but I'm feeling more comfortable. I feel that we're even going live now. We have our weekly live stream, and just the fact to say that I have a weekly live stream is like,
Yes.
who am I?
Yes. And I love seeing it. And also, I will just share with anyone that's listening, Tanisha is not giving herself enough credit here. This woman got into the camera confidence class, decided, okay, I this is something I really want to do, showed up for herself, and I did not experience that lull that she was speaking about. I saw someone who was hungry and she started uploading. And what I loved about her is that she kept uploading, she kept learning, she kept, going and putting up content and trying out different things and, shifting. And, I feel like when you're just starting out on YouTube, that is the energy that you need to have. Because I think in the
Mm.
camera confidence class, I said, you need to make 52 videos.
Yeah.
I set that I love setting that intention in that
Yeah.
class. And she said, okay. And so
I was not hearing it. You said
listen,
50, and I was like,
but she did. She
I
started
don't know.
recording and uploading, and it was such a beautiful thing to watch her just take off. And I think that as business owners and personal brands, entrepreneurs, leaders, professionals, we all know that you deciding I want this and doing the
Mm.
work that's required and being okay with looking stupid, if
That
nobody's
part.
watching, I don't know if I should post this, all of the things that she actually just shared. You understand that that's also part of the process, but you push
Mm.
through anyway. I've seen her do that, and I've seen her continue, and I've seen her beat herself up, but she's only beating herself up because she
Yeah.
understands where she's going and what she's looking to accomplish. And that's part of the process.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely beat myself up. And it's so funny you say that. Because sometimes we just put these high level of, because we have expectations, not
Yes.
only for others, but for ourselves. So I like to deliver value, and I do come from a place of service. So I sometimes do put that pressure on myself to be like, oh, we want it to look a certain way. We want to make sure it's hitting a certain way. So, but yeah,
It
I feel better about it now.
yeah, like and that's part of the process. You know, that I think the beauty, like when I look back at everything I've done on YouTube, even like now I'm, rebuilding our camera confidence class. I'm so excited about it, of the experience that I'm going to create, with that class. And that now I can look back and I can go back to all of the old camera confidence classes because it had a different name before. And I can look at all the cohorts and the people that are out there and, like the takeaways and the things that people
Yeah.
love the most, and I can build this whole new signature program with it. I think that sometimes, now if you asked me this then, I would have told
Mhm.
you, girl. So sometimes when we're in the thick of things, or even I look
Yeah.
back at like my old videos and when I first started, I can see traces of my current self. Like, girl, you always
Mm.
been on this path. You always knew what you were doing. You just didn't
Wow.
stand in it enough. And
Mm.
yes, when I look back at things like that, I can see where I always knew. And if I had believed a little bit more, I may have
Mm.
been further, but I needed to learn these lessons that were
Yeah.
lining up in these moments. And it helps me to take just a different approach with my work now, or I have a different appreciation for the harder times that I went
Yes.
through. And so just sharing that with you because I know where you're heading. I know where you're going. And so just, sharing that with you so that you can think about the things that you're doing now, even with your live show. Like, talk to us
Mm.
about your live show. It's so exciting. When you
Yeah.
launched it, I was so excited for you. Um, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
how do you feel about having your live weekly show, honey? That is streamed to multiple platforms, by the way.
Baby, we're streaming to multiple platforms over
Hello.
here. But, yeah, no, it was a little scary launching it, but I felt like it was time.
Yeah.
I've kind of wrestled with the idea of launching it for a while.
Yes.
You've heard me talk about so, I think that's just a pattern of how I go through that's my process, is that I
And
talk
we
about
get
something
it.
for a
We get it,
while.
and we're here to support.
Yeah, and then and then it's just a quick push, like, just do it. But,
Yeah.
yeah, launching the show felt great. I am just whenever I get, like, DMs or different messages of, people saying that they watched it or, like, they
Yeah.
took something away from it, that feeling is
There's nothing like
amazing.
that.
It's
Yeah.
nothing like it because it's unsolicited. It's not, that's not what I'm doing it for. It like I said, it really
Exactly.
started as a way for me to get better and confident in speaking.
Mm.
And so it's just interesting to me. And now I feel like it's diving into more of service where we giving the people what they want. And they're talking about the topics that they want, and we're expanding on that for the show. So even that in itself is exciting because the fear of starting was even wondering like was
What do
people
I
gonna
say?
actually
Yeah.
watch?
Yes.
What are they gonna say? Are they gonna say turn that channel off? Like
Which nobody has said, by the way.
they have not. And so that's the beauty of it. And I wanted to say sometimes we don't realize like we're doing it. I'm not having lives with like 50 million people in it right now, but the
Yeah.
beauty of it is we never know who's watching us.
Never. Yes.
And I've had opportunities come from people who have watched me in this online space and tell me they're seeing me, and they might not be saying anything in that moment, but people are talking.
They are
And
talking.
so it's just that's another reason to just show up. Show up for yourself, show up for
Yes.
the people. Just show up for your passion, and what do they say? The how will be figured out later on. Like,
Yes.
don't worry about all of that. So,
Oh, I love that, Tanisha. Do you feel like video has had an impact on like your business and your confidence and the way that you show up now? Like if you look at Tanisha from let's say 5 years ago versus who you are now in the online space, do you see a difference? Do you see a difference in like opportunities in yourself? Like what are your thoughts there?
oh, absolutely. So there's a difference in my confidence level, even not even just speaking about my topic, but also just in my presence and my deliverability. Like,
Right.
so before, when I first started, I was stuck in the kind of like robotic, like trying to sound a certain way. And now I'm just like, this is me, y'all.
Yes.
Like, this is me. And I want you to feel that because I feel like we're in a business of relationships. And I
Mm,
don't want you to see me online and then meet me in person and then think,
two different people.
like, who is this girl? Like, but, yeah, so the confidence level has not just changed in business, but personally as well. I feel like I show
Mm.
up differently in rooms. There's a different level of confidence there. And then as far as the opportunities, yeah, for sure. This is the year of Tanisha speaks on stages. She's speaking everywhere.
Yes.
So so yeah, I'm just grateful for that. And it's putting, I don't think I've reached my height. I think there's still
Mm.
room and just areas to practice on and in. But definitely she is not the same as she was 5 years ago.
And I feel like that's like for all of us. I think first of all, the power of repetition and being able
Yeah.
to just like even for me, one thing will there will always be room to get better. One of the things that I've been thinking about lately is I want to get better at slowing down and enunciating my words.
Mm,
Like, you know, there's so much room for us to grow and get better and, you
yeah.
know, like tweak things because people think that like me like you know I'm like so confident on camera and all these things, which
Yeah,
I
we
am. I've
do.
learned I've learned to tap into the skill of it because of practice first of all,
Mm,
but also I can always see things that I can improve on. There are things that I'm really great at and things that I can see, oh okay, I need to work on that a bit more, I need to
yeah,
work
for
on this a
sure.
bit more. And you know, which is why I love having a community that I can share these things with. You
Mhm.
know, a lot of times we
Yeah.
tell ourselves, well, I'm bad at this or I'm horrible at that, so I'm not going to be great on video. And I think sometimes it's just being patient with ourselves and reminding ourselves that you're not going to be, this is a whole new skill that you're learning. You're
Yeah.
not
Oh my
going to
goodness.
be.
Because I look at even you say I go to my channel and I look at the intro video and I look at today and I'm like, I just want to take that video down. But
Girl.
but it's a part of my journey and I
Yes.
still mean everything that I said in that video. It's just the the quality behind it has changed and that's it.
And it's going to keep changing. It's going to keep
Yeah.
evolving. One day, 10 years in the future, I'll look back at this video and be like, girl, what were we talking about? I'm kidding. However, let's go back to that video. One question I love asking on the podcast is tell me about your first YouTube video.
Do we have to?
Yes, girl. Let's go there.
Oh my goodness. I think I recorded that. So it was definitely a pre-recorded video. So after camera confidence, I sat with it for a while. I did follow the steps you outlined and brainstorm and kind of researching and putting together. So I even watched other people's intro videos and kind of got
Hmm.
ideas. And so I recorded it and I was like, oh my goodness. You could see I started critiquing everything. I was like, you could see the glare on my glasses. I sound like I'm talking too fast. I'm like, this doesn't sound like me. Like the lighting. I just started thinking about everything.
Mm.
Um, but I went ahead with it, and we edited it and put it up there, and it's been there ever since.
Are you happy you made that video?
Absolutely. Because I didn't realize it at the time, but it was the beginning or the birth really of me stepping into a different stage of awareness, of
Mm.
confidence, of just we talk all the time of personal development, but
Mhm.
being a business owner
Girl.
and having to, really go into areas that we're not always comfortable with, it just really stretches us to another version of ourselves, and here for it.
Yes, I completely agree. Listen, the other day I shared inside of the membership just one of my first, well, it wasn't my first video. It was my first video when I was pivoting.
Mm.
And when I tell you cringe worthy,
Yeah.
like I was cringing so much, like, oh my gosh, like I put this out there and this has been because I used to post and never watch the video again, right? So I would put
Mm.
it up because I do not like the sound of my voice. And then I also nitpick if I look at myself. So I'm like,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
going to go out and I'm never going to see it again. And it's been out there for years. I think it was like 8 years ago. This is on my
Uh-huh.
old channel. And so the other day, I can't remember what I was at. Well, I think I was going back, like, like just doing like research for my camera confidence class.
Mhm.
And I found that video and I was like, oh my God.
Ah, the cringe all over?
The cringe all over. And I was still brave enough to
Mm.
share it inside of our membership community, right? Like,
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
when you guys think that this is how it started, this was not how it started. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, um, it was cringy, but I watched that video and I saw everything that I am today
Mm.
amplified. Like I'm so grateful I made that video because I have documentation of my concept and ideas from a video
Yes.
8 years ago that I have lost the way on so many times. Like
Yeah.
there are so many times in business where you will lose your vision. And I think having things like that to ground you and center you
Mm.
are completely humbling. I'm like, why didn't I watch this video, like years ago and feel like, oh, she's so dope. She has an amazing, like, mustard seed of an idea and she needs to water it so that it grows kind of thing. Sometimes we don't give
Yeah.
ourselves enough credit, which is why I give you your flowers just now because
Mm.
there are lots of times where we're on the journey and we're thinking about all different things, right?
Yeah. I was literally watching a YouTube video today, I think. Um, it came up in my For You where the person was talking about how, even though we like join communities and stuff like that, sometimes we can get lost in our
Mm-hmm.
vision, our goal, and thinking we haven't,
Mm.
accomplished
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And just sometimes taking that moment to pause. So I'm glad you actually shared that because it took me back because
Mm.
I haven't really looked at those first videos. Really,
Mm.
just it's kind of been almost like a moving target
Yes, I
to
agree.
like make it better or give better value or something like that. So I actually honor you in this moment for making me take a second to look back at the journey because sometimes
Yeah.
we forget to think of how far we've come. And so I just want to honor this moment Tuesday because I'm like, look at me with a whole camera and microphone. Come on.
Yes, looking good, sounding good. I'm so proud of you. Like, trust me, I'm so proud of you. Like, just to see you show up.
Yeah.
And I'm so, like, I love it. I keep switching you into full screen for anyone that's watching the video because it's like the whole ambiance and the vibe that she has going on. I'm here for it. Okay. And so, my last just question and thought is dream with me a little bit. What does
Mm.
being brave on video look like for you in the next, let's say, 5 years?
Wow. Yeah, in the next 5 years, I think it circles back to something you mentioned earlier, where as much as I do work in the online space, I actually enjoy being in person too. And so for me, in the next 5 years, one of the goals is wanting to be able to work with. So I'm in the state of New Jersey and working with state organizations that support small business owners. And so when I think of like video, I also think of like being on stages and being able to
Mhm.
pour into those communities as well. So that's what it would look like for me. And of course, there's video because I got a bunch of gadgets and I have to use them. So the content will be flowing.
Yeah, I think honestly, like it's just an extension of who you genuinely are. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
so like having a camera or having a show is really, which is why we see like, in entertainment, we have people who do host TV shows, but they'll host a live show or they'll host a show with a studio
yeah,
audience or they'll host a get to like it's an extension of who we are. It's just
yeah,
a
for sure.
medium, honestly, which is why
Yeah,
it's so powerful to be really clear in your messaging, who you're talking to, what your mission is, because it's not only in this box,
yeah.
right? Like it's so I love that you shared that because that's an extension of who you are, and I can't wait to see how your live shows just
Oh,
contribute to that 5-year vision that you have for yourself because
yeah.
it's all interconnected,
Love
you know?
it. I'm super excited too. No, it's definitely a journey. But I'm excited about it and actually glad that I have been in the community because one thing that it has provided is accountability.
Ooh. Oh, the Brave on Video
Because
membership.
yes, the
Okay.
Brave One Video membership has definitely provided accountability because it's a safe space for me to come and like flush through my thoughts and
Yeah.
talk with people that are going to rally around me and sometimes even be like a bridge to the thought of what I'm having and putting it into action.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just really those eh, that's why community to me it's huge
I
because
I get it. I
yeah,
get it.
in
Yeah.
all areas of life. Like, so
Yes.
you talked earlier about that, I'm in different communities and it's because I've found success in having
Mm,
community to match different areas of my life that I'm working on. And
I love
so
that.
it's just the accountability. We need people. We
We
need people.
do, especially this kind of like creative work or just working online. It can get so lonely.
Yeah.
And just creating a space where we could all get together and talk about things. Like every time I host, one of our studio sessions or strategy sessions, like I walk away with so much value from you. I feel like it's just a beautiful exchange of like, oh,
Yeah.
I see how I can share this for you guys, or how I can break down this content, or how it's like so even when I'm like giving you guys feedback or coaching or whatever it might be, in that moment, or I'm teaching something, that instant feedback, which is what you're getting on your live videos, right? That instant feedback of, well, this is what we want, this is what we would like, this is how we could do this, like I feel like that is so powerful. And like you said, like that's an aspect of community, like us being in the same space. Like even when I do those meetings, we do them all together, right? Like so,
Like, yes, everybody
yes.
gets thrown under the bus at times and be like, well, did you do what you said you were going to do?
They be throwing me under the bus too, so don't feel bad for them. Okay. So it's, it's such a
No, it's all
beautiful
love.
experience.
It's
Exactly.
definitely a beautiful I definitely want to as I said before, I knew that about you from more so from camera confidence that
Mm.
your attention to community and just what you provide is it's top tier. It's
I
top tier
appreciate
and I will forever say that.
I appreciate you so much. So grateful for you. You don't even know, which is why we have you here today. Um, hello. But also, where can the people find you in the online space?
Yeah, so they could definitely find us on YouTube. I hang out on LinkedIn as well, preferably, but we also do post content to Instagram. So my name is Tanesha Halstead across all platforms. If you're on YouTube, you can also search Virtually Centered Solutions.
Awesome. And you'll find it if you search Tanesha Halstead as well.
Yes,
So, you know, either
on
way, but we're going to
purpose.
link those down below.
Look. Hello.
Hello. We're going to link all of those links to Tanisha's socials and everything. And if she has any resources, we'll put them down below as well. Tanisha, appreciate you for being on the Brave on Video podcast.
Thank you
Thank you
so much
so
for
much.
having me.
Of
I listen.
course.
I could talk to you all day, Zay.
All that, you know how we do. So, but guys, we will talk to you guys soon. Appreciate you for listening in, and we'll see you in the next episode.